everyone, this is Maki. The protagonist of the GQuuuuuX story is Machu. However, many of you may have felt that Challia Boo's words about Machu in the final episode came rather abruptly. What did Challia mean by calling her true Newtype? And why is the protagonist of the GQuuuuuX story Machu instead of Char? Today, I would like to analyze these questions. By combining this analysis with elements hidden in the original 0079 world, we may uncover new insights. Now, I am seeking support through a monthly membership on my channel, priced at 99 cents. Be sure to get the name badge and comment stamps. With that said, let us begin the analysis. In the final scene of the story, Challia Boo describes Machu as a true Newtype. However, Challia's words in this scene are quite abstract and difficult to grasp intuitively. Let's review his words. You were forced to leave your homeland because of the incident that occurred in Site 6. But you did not regret it at all. The handgun I gave you suits a woman who continues to fight for herself. It suits a person who does not fear getting hurt in order to obtain freedom. That is what a true Newtype is. This is how Challia defines a true Newtype. What impression did you get from these words? To be honest, when I first heard them, I could not really understand what he meant. However, these words are exactly the definition of a Newtype that the story of GQuuuuuX was aiming for. They also match the definition of a Newtype envisioned by Mr. Yoshiyuki Tomino, the creator of the original Universal Century. Now let's address the question of why Machu is a true Newtype. Some viewers may already know the answer. Previously, I released a program titled Which Would Win If Charles and Neville from the Universal Century and Charles and Neville from the world of GQuuuuuX fought each other. In it, I analyzed the element of Charles' emotional growth based on Mr. Tomino's words. The elements I discussed there and Machu's growth have many similarities. There will be some overlap, but I will briefly summarize Mr. Tomino's words. Children must become independent from the warm hometowns and their parents. While feeling nostalgic for home, they should never look back and must move forward into the future. Even if it is painful, they must not cry. This is what Mr. Tomino had in mind when he created the original 0079 story. This mindset is reflected in the lyrics of the ending theme song. What Challia said to Machu aligns perfectly with Mr. Tomino's philosophy. Machu was forced to leave her homeland, yet she acts strong and does not shed tears. The idea of becoming independent from one's mother also aligns with Mr. Tomino's philosophy. In the final battle, she declares her determination to become stronger tomorrow. However, she does not abandon her homeland. In the epilogue, there is a scene of her contacting her mother. Feeling nostalgic for her homeland, she moves forward into the future with her own strength. This is the image portrayed. Machu truly embodied the Newtype that Tomino envisioned. Some people may have felt that Challia's comment about the handgun suiting you came out of the blue. I was one of them. What follows is my interpretation, which includes personal speculation. I believe the inclusion of Machu and the handgun was intended as a sign of respect and homage to the visuals of the original 0079 opening theme. In the original 0079, there is a scene in which Amuro holds a handgun with a determined expression. In GQuuuuuX, Challia entrusts a gun to a determined Machu. In the original 0079, the item that was depicted as a symbol of Amuro's determination is given to Machu. Although the design is different, the gun element is common. This aligns with what Mr. Tomino described as Amuro's Newtype qualities being passed on to others, and eventually blossoming. Challia once despaired over his fate, attempting to end his life with a handgun. Machu, on the other hand, chooses to fight without fear of getting hurt. This contrast may explain why the handgun truly suits Machu. The protagonist of the GQuuuuuX story is Machu. Although Charles Noble could also be considered the protagonist, the official protagonist is Machu. Considering everything discussed so far, does that make sense? This interpretation also includes the content of the previous program. In the story, Machu is portrayed as a character similar to Char. There is a scene in which she leaves the Zoku and boards the Gundam. Char tells Machu that if her feelings for Shuji are one-sided, they could become a burden to him. Combined with the situation in which Lolo, known as Sharon's Rose, gives excessive protection to Char, these words become very convincing. It is interesting to consider these words alongside Char's development of a strong attachment to Lolo in the Universal Century and his ultimate defeat. Machu has many similarities to Char. However, unlike Char, she acts based on her own will rather than simply obeying his words. The moment when Machu kisses Shuji during the final battle is highly symbolic. Despite receiving Char's warning, Machu chooses to hold on to her feelings for Shuji. She acts according to her own will. She might get hurt by being rejected by Shuji. Despite knowing this possibility exists, she pushes forward anyway. Considering all this, one conclusion emerges when we observe Machu. She's a character who inherits elements from both Amuro and Charles Neville while pursuing her own unique path. This is precisely why we can confidently say that Machu is the protagonist of the GQuuuuuX story. What do you think? It might also be interesting to compare Machu with Hathaway. He named the Gundam he pilots the She Gundam. This is the letter that comes after the Greek letter Nu. In the first volume of the novel, the name is described as chosen to inherit Amuro's will. Mafti is an organization that inherited Charles Noble's idea that humanity must leave Earth and live in space. Hathaway inherits and attempts to carry out the ideas of both Amuro and Char. Meanwhile, Machu inherits elements from both Amuro and Char yet tries to carve out her own path. Depending on your interpretation, Hathaway and Machu can be seen as similar. Thank you for watching until the end. I will see you again in the next program.